What's up, guys? Mr. Dan here, back again with another Dollar Tree theater review. Today's film is Broken. I knew nothing about it. I saw it at Dollar Tree. I grabbed it, I brought it home. The next day I just threw it in and watched it, not knowing what I was in for. This is a really good movie. This is a really solid movie. It is not for everyone. However, you can see the quote there at the top that's from Dread Central. I'm not even really going to go into which genre this falls into. I'm not going to say much about it. I always say my reviews are going to be short. This one's going to be short because I really don't want to say too much about this film. I'm just going to set it up for you. This was made in England. It stars
Editing Mr. Dan here. I'm just going to come in because I'm just about to butcher both of the pronunciation of both of these names. I mean, it's so hard not to say radio. You know what I mean? Look at that. Mel Raydu. That's it. Raydu. And Morjana was born in Morocco. She's a French actress, and she was in Martyrs, guys. So it's Morjana Aloui. And yeah, we know her from Martyrs.
She does have a slight accent in this. It's very slight. And she is basically a home health care worker taking care of John. So her name is Evie. So the movie starts with John calling Evie on an intercom because she lives upstairs. You know, he's screaming at her. And this is repeated throughout the film many times. And sometimes John can be not so nice. And basically John was a former musician. It's not clear to me whether he was like a touring rock musician or star, but he is a former musician who actually has now become paralyzed in an accident that was actually his own fault. And he refers to himself as a tetraplegic at one point, which is in other countries is how they say quadriplegic. But he does use his arms, so I think the proper term would be paraplegic. But at any rate, he needs there's not a lot he can do on his own. So this is a film, guys, where you see the day-to-day goings-on of what a home health care worker like Evie has to do. You know, her daily task. We're talking about bodily functions, guys. They don't shy away from talking about it or even showing it. Okay, we're talking about bedpans. She wears gloves and even like almost like looks like a rain poncho to keep, you know, a barrier between her and his fluids. It's kind of hard to watch in parts, to be honest with you. And basically, he's kind of abusive and jerky, and you know, she's just getting more stressed out kind of dealing with it. You meet another nurse who also provides John with care and a little something extra, if you know what I'm saying, for some extra money. And she just basically rationalizes that like everyone gets what they want. But well, Evie has like standards, you know, she's trying her best. She does have a supervisor she kind of complains to a little bit about how difficult it is. Later, she calls him for help, and his response will infuriate you. He's not very receptive to that, to help. And what happens is, John kind of spirals down. She's trying to encourage him to be more independent and to give up drinking, because he's still into the drinking and the smoking and the drugs, despite his condition. She wants him to be more independent. He's fighting her. He also has a friend from his past that is not a good influence, and this guy keeps showing up. And he's not a very nice guy. He's rude to Evie, and eventually things escalate between him and Evie, and you have him throwing a party for John. So you have a house full of people. Evie's kind of trying to avoid it, but she has to get involved in it. And now you get this impending sense of doom that something really bad is going to happen in this film. There's one little interlude where you're like, okay, well, maybe it's going to change direction. They actually have a nice kind of conversation where John says, well, tell me about yourself. And we learn that Evie's got some issues of her own that she's suppressing. She's from her childhood, and that comes into play at the end of the film. And I'm really not going to say too much more. This film is very much like a film I reviewed for To Be Tuesday, another British film called April. In that film was about sex trafficking, so a different subject matter. In that, both films are like perfect films. I really have no complaints about this film. Everything was, technically it was fine. The pacing was fine, which is often, you know, something that'll take a potentially great movie and make it pretty good, is bad pacing. But everything works. But with both films, the issue is whether it's for you or not. Okay. So for some people, you know, you're not going to want to see this at all. For other people, you might want to sort of be in the mood for it. Okay, I threw it in kind of expecting something a little different, so it quickly put me in the right mood. Highly recommend if you think you can handle the subject matter, and if you're curious. A well-made, well-acted film. Very interested to see what everybody involved in this comes up with next. It does have a commentary. I should really go back and watch that. Sean Robert Smith is the director. Let me just show you the back real quick. Okay, maybe even the back is a little bit too much, to be honest with you. So, okay, guys, there's my review of Broken.
Also, one more thing. I'm inserting this awkwardly now, but I just watched the trailer. The trailer gives away too much. Goes without saying. So I would, if you're interested, don't watch the trailer. Thanks.